Once the war was over, the Poles, they managed to push the Red Army back from Warsaw. They managed to take back territories in Belarus and in what is today Ukraine. However, they didn't reach as far east as they had hoped, and it was impossible to create a large enough Ukrainian independent state that would be able to survive on its own. Also, the peace negotiations in Riga in 1921 were controlled by the father of the Polish modern state, Józef Piłsudski's arch rivals, the National Democracy Movement, that favored a smaller Poland instead of a larger Poland that wasn't as homogeneous. This meant that they weren't very prone to conduct the peace negotiations in such a way that they would demand large swaths of what is today Ukraine. There were even areas that the Poles held, for example, the city of Kamieniec-Podolski with its famous fortress that had once guarded the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth's southern border against the Ottoman Empire. That was one of the regions that was held by the Polish army, but then handed over to the Red Army as a sign of good faith during the negotiations. And later in the negotiations, the Poles had also been offered Minsk, for example, in Belarus, the capital city of Belarus today. Nevertheless, the Poles had said thank you, but no thank you, and they had withdrawn from the area. With no Ukrainian state being able to be created, the Ukrainian People's Republic, their officials had to go into exile into Poland. Petlura was one of them, and since he had very good connections with his minister Józefski, Józefski became the man that was in charge of hiding Petlura once the Soviets had demanded his extradition from Poland. Again here, Józefski's experience in conspiratorial work came into great use. He transported Petlura from one apartment to another, and then finally managed to organize him leaving Poland and heading for Paris in 1923. Unfortunately, just 3 years later, Petlura would be assassinated there by a Ukrainian Jew, Shlomo Schwarzbard. Schwarzbard publicly claimed that Petlura was responsible for the atrocities of the Ukrainian People's Republic against the local Jewish population, including his family. The French public opinion believed those claims, and it affected the trial that took place later, and he was freed. But later on, documents appeared, and it seems that it was probably just a cover story, and that Schwarzbard had actually just been an agent of OGPU, a predecessor of or precursor of the KGB. So Józefski's friendship with Petlura ended abruptly. Their relationship could have been very useful later on when Józefski was the voivode, the governor of the Volhynian region. As the National Democracy Camp came to power in 1923, which was the reason for why Petlura had to leave Poland altogether, Józefski also took a step back from public life. And he was gone for 3 years up until 1926. Then we had the May coup when Józef Piłsudski came back to power, and with him more pro-Ukrainian policies. In 1928, he made his friend Józefski the governor of Volhynia, and gave him a very specific task, which was to capture the hearts and minds of the Ukrainians in Volhynia.
Adam, as usual, the clock in the corner of the room has defeated us. I'm going to have to ask you to pause there, but we will pick it up next time. I've had to ask Adam to pause, but fear not, if you join us next time on Poland Daily History, as we hope you will, we'll pick up the story. Until then, thank you very much for watching.